Hey, what's up everyone? It's Stargirl.thepracticalwitch and welcome back to my channel. So I'm finally back with an astrological predictions video where today I'm going to tell you what surprise changes and blessings are coming to your zodiac sign by June 2020. So anywhere from May to the beginning of June, these are the blessings and changes you're going to start seeing manifesting, and we are going to be using the astrological transit. I'm going to try to pick up messages from spirit as well for you guys, because as you guys probably feel, there are a lot of big changes and drastic karmic cycles that are going to change in the next month due to the nodal axis shift, due to Saturn, Pluto, all these planets going retrograde, and we are going to cover them and what it means for you. Before we get started on the video, guys, I am so excited. I just came out with a candle line called Lilith Ascendant. I have right now released the Taurus candle and also the Gemini candle, and both candles are specifically designed and made for the Taurus sun, moon, and rising, and Gemini sun, moon, and rising. And each candle and like the fragrance that it lets out stimulates certain healings. So for instance, the Taurus candle, it stimulates abundance healing, and then the Gemini candle, clarity for your mind based on the scent it lets off. All these candles are handmade by this wonderful lady. I've been working with her. Her name is Sarah. She hand makes these candles with top quality soy wax. If you want to collect all of the zodiac sign horoscope candles as they come out per month, you can sign up for the subscription and you get a huge chunk off the candle price. And on top of that, every month you get the newest released zodiac candle that each has its own healing property. So I'm really excited about this Lilith Ascendant line I came out with. So excited to share it with you guys. So definitely check out my website, lilithascendant.com. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on the video. Now I do want to say your rising and moon sign is going to be the most accurate, because your rising and moon sign is the most accurate horoscope. However, if you don't know those signs, your regular sun sign, zodiac sign horoscope will work just fine. But honestly, I recommend checking out all three, because I've noticed all three horoscopes put together will give you an even better representation. So if one doesn't resonate, pick your horoscope kind of like a pick a card to see which one is for you. Okay, so Aries, what blessings, what changes are coming with all of these planet retrogrades, Venus retrograde, Saturn retrograde, Pluto retrograde, and on top of that, the nodal shift, which rules our karmic destiny and path, is going into Gemini and Sagittarius. So these next few months, guys, I can't stress this enough, is going to be nothing but major changes in destiny and path. I promise, especially in June with the eclipses going on in your 9th and 3rd house, there are so many changes about to happen for you. Okay, so Aries, these are the big changes that I'm seeing for you essentially. So what I'm seeing is that the North Node has moved to Gemini in your 3rd house, which means this is going to be a total shift in karma for you. Now, Gemini, the North Node in Gemini is a little chaotic, because especially in the first degrees, because it does cause a little bit of anxiety and it causes our minds to kind of overthink and worry, especially in your 3rd house of mind and communication. But Aries, the good news about this is that I actually see you learning something or being dedicated to learning something you are very passionate about. This is going to be a time for you about learning as much as you can about your desired passion and hobby. However, this is going to be really awkward for you, Aries, because essentially what happens when the North Node goes to Gemini is that you're literally killing your identity to build a new one. That's what's happening, because in tarot, Gemini is ruled by what? The 8 of Swords, the 10 of Swords, the 9 of Swords. Now in tarot, these cards are kind of scary. They induce anxiety. They also are cards that show endings or mental anguish. And this sounds really scary, guys, but it's actually a really good thing, because essentially what's happening is you're becoming very self-aware, Aries, and you're starting to shed your old skin of who you used to be. Like Aries, I'm kind of sensing the last 18 months you were very, for some reason, Aries are supposed to be confrontational, they're supposed to be assertive, but for the last 18 months, Aries, you have not been very assertive. You've been letting people get away with a lot of things that and you haven't been speaking up for yourself. Essentially, you've been kind of giving away your power to other people and not really expressing your authentic truth. So what this is going to do, the North Node shift to the 3rd house, is it's really going to make it so that you start expressing yourself in a very powerful way and being unapologetic about speaking up for yourself, expressing yourself. Now, this is going to be really awkward, Aries, because like I said, you're shedding your old skin. You are shedding you're shedding who you used to be and turning into a more powerful person. So in the beginning, this might be really awkward for you as you're trying to find your identity. So one thing you're going to notice, Aries, is that you might be like my sister, she's an Aries rising, she's doing this right now. You might be trying out different looks, like what look is me, especially if you are someone who really every time I change my hair color, I'm a new person, especially if you're one of those people. During this shift in nodal axis, you're really going to try out a bunch of different looks. You might even try out different personalities until you find the one that really feels like you. And you might notice too, for some of you who used to be more serious, you might be more lighthearted, or for those of you who were more lighthearted, you might be more serious. There's just going to be a huge shift in your personality and the way you express yourself into the world. Now, for those of you who have siblings too, this is going to be a time where there's a lot of karma with your siblings come into the forefront, especially the next 18 months or, yeah, I'm sort of feeling like siblings is going to be a very big thing for you, Aries. Now, the positive thing about this shift, though, is that this shift gives you a boost of confidence for 18 months. And the reason being is because the North Node, it's like one of those nodes where wherever it is in your birth chart, it amps up the house and the planet it rules, and it makes you go crazy and materialistic for that house. It's kind of like crack in a birth chart, essentially. I know it's a spiritual channel, I shouldn't be saying the C word, but don't tell the spiritual police on me. But anyway, when it's in the 3rd house, this gives you a lot of confidence to go after what you want and get things done. So Aries, even though there might be a lot of mental anxiety, specifically towards self-consciousness, or maybe even towards who you are, who your identity is, or there could be a lot of you getting into verbal disagreements with people because the North Node is teaching you how to express and communicate with yourself, with other people. Even though that's going to happen, you're going to have more confidence, more energy. This is normally around the time you take risk, and these risks lead you to finding what it is you're supposed to do as a life purpose. Like when I had the North Node go into my 3rd house, that was right before my YouTube channel blew up, and I was trying out music, I was trying out acting, I was trying out tarot. I was literally exploring all my interests because I finally had the confidence and motivation to do that, until I found one that really stuck to me, which was spirituality and tarot. So essentially what you're doing, Aries, is you're getting this confidence from the North Node to go learn a bunch of different things that you're passionate about, because the following year this is likely going to yield in money from the efforts you put in now. So you might feel a little bit lost. You're like, who am I? What am I supposed to do? What direction am I supposed to go in? There's a lot of anxiety about the future, like not knowing what the future brings. My best suggestion to you, Aries, like what I'm hearing from Spirit, is just go after whatever risk or changes that you feel passionate and you feel like will lead to something good. You don't need to know the future with these axes. You just need to go towards what it is that makes you feel excited, because even if it's not one thing or the other, you make a few mistakes, it's worth it, because in the end it will all wrap up. So obviously astrology doesn't dictate your life, you do, but I'm giving you the best possible setup I possibly can, because I want you to succeed. And sometimes if we know these cycles, we can do that. So right now, Aries, I hit the mic, sorry. Right now, Aries, I'm just asking you to try something new, try every different thing you want to, because Aries, you might be scared life's gonna go back to how bad it once was. Like, because I'm seeing you went through dark night of the soul, Aries, like, or where you were down, you were depressed, there was a lot of darkness in your life. But I'm hearing from Spirit, actually, these retrogrades are gonna take that darkness and take that karma away and show you the strong person you have become from all of those difficult Saturn, Pluto transits in your 10th house. And it's going to reveal to you your true self and give you the confidence to go after what you want. So even though the future might seem scary, Aries, I want you to know, as long as you follow your passion and take a risk responsibly, you are really going to be like next year when the North Node goes into your second house of Taurus, money, 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 money. But how do you get that money? From doing something that's actually fulfilling. You get that money by exploring your interests and passions now and seeing which one your destiny leads you to. But I want to tell you, the darkness is all over, Aries. It's all up from here, and I'm not just saying that. I really felt that for you. You were in the dark in a cave for too long. In May, the blessing for you is by June, you are going to be out in the sunshine. I'm thinking this quarantine might let up a little, or there's going to be an opportunity for you to finally be happy and out of that bat cave you've been living in. So, Aries, one thing I do see that's actually going to be a positive thing that comes out of this, it's so hot, is I actually think that you're actually finally going to be able to see like people's real intentions and see the sneaky people around you. That's a big thing I felt for you, because one of the cards that like I channeled when I was like doing these predictions is the stork and the fox. And if we look at this, it's almost like the stork in her nest sees the fox, sees the deceit. That's why the fox is upside down. It's almost like you were the prey, but now the hunter is the prey, because you finally see who's really not for you, and you're starting to see past sneaky behavior. I feel like the full moon in Scorpio, which happened May 7th, really showed that to you about who's your real friend and who's not your real friend. And unfortunately, Aries, a lot of people have very sneaky intentions. That's something we all learn. But you know, what I do feel from Spirit is that I do feel like you're gonna be able to finally discern people. Not with like suspicion, but with empathy, because Cancer in your 4th house taught you that, but also with a wisdom now. Like, you know how to protect your energy and space, and that's a blessing that I see for you. So that's all I have for you, Aries. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you later. Bye. Okay, Taurus, so let's go ahead and look at what blessings, what changes are coming for you within the next few months. And obviously there's going to be a lot of changes because of the retrogrades, the karmic shift in destiny with the North and South nodes, which rules our reality. Saturn, which rules our reality, is going retrograde. So in the next few months, guys, your whole destiny, your whole life is going to do a huge shift in 180, as if the virus isn't enough. So this is going to be a very crazy time. By the way, Taurus, your candle in my new candle line, Lilith Ascendant, is out. I'm only releasing one candle per month depending on the season, and Taurus, your candle was the first to be released. It has special essential oils and also soy wax in there, made specifically for abundance healing and to promote like feelings of satisfaction. It's very Taurusy, handmade, 100% vegan. Be sure to check it out in my site down below, or if you know a Taurus friend, or if you're Taurus sun, moon, and rising, whatever. Let's get on to your reading. I actually feel, Taurus, when the North Node goes into your second house of Gemini, this is really good because it does amp up your ability to earn money. It really does. But the only thing I would say about this is that it makes you very worried about money. It makes you very worried about security. It makes you very like worried in general. Like, you have a lot of worries in regards to financial security, stability, or maybe you're just very focused on that. That's something that I do see. However, Taurus, this is also a really good thing because your second house is all about possessions, money, talent. It's about your natural skills. It's about your morals. It's about what you believe in. The second house is pretty much everything that makes you human, I feel. Like everything that makes up your identity. So your first house in your birth chart, I feel like, is your personality. It's your appearance. It's how other people people see you, it's the vibe you let off, but what makes you you, I feel, is the second house, because it shows what you stand for. It shows your natural talents, what you care about, what you value. And the North Node is going to be amping up, exploding that second house. One thing that I've noticed with Gemini, North Node being in Gemini, Taurus, is when it's in your second house, you need to accept the fact that you are going to be oh my gosh. You're going to have multiple different incomes, multiple different ways of making money, and multiple different talents. Now, why is that? That's because in Gemini, it is ruled by the Lovers in Tarot, which is duality. It's also ruled by the Magician, because the Magician represents Mercury. And the Lovers and the Magician both speaks about duality, multiple choices. The Magician is a jack of all trades. They master everything. So when you have those tarot cards, that sign ruling your second house, with the North Node amping that up exponentially, essentially what's happening is you're realizing you have multi-talents, multiple different ways of making money. And Taurus, what I'm feeling for you, obviously this is a general reading, and I'm putting these disclaimers, especially if you're a sun, but if you're a rising or moon, I feel like this is more prevalent. This means that you need to get used to being multi-talented. You might have one thing you're really good at and can make money at, but there's also going to be a second thing you're going to realize with these nodal transits that you are really good at and can easily make money at too. I see multiple different areas of income due to this North Node amping up Gemini. I see multiple different talents emerging, and I'm also seeing too, guys, like you mastering this talent. So what I saw, like sometimes I use tarot to help with my intuition when it comes to astrology, because there's still so much left to interpretation. So what I do is I use images that help stir up my subconscious, and because astrology is archetypes, right? So I use these archetypes, these images, to help me figure out what the universe, what karma is coming your way. Now I got the child on a bike in reverse, okay, and then I got the man on a horse going forward. So if we look at this, right, if we look at these images, it's almost like the opposite. We have the child who's falling down on the bike, and then we have the grown adult riding a horse, a real bike going forward. So essentially what I'm seeing for you, Taurus, is that in the past, you might have felt like you failed a lot. You might have felt, maybe you've been studying something, Taurus. Maybe you've been working on something continuously, Taurus, that you were a beginner at. But I'm seeing that with this North Node transit, what this actually is going to do is it's going to show you just how good you have gotten at certain things you've been working on. Whether it's studying for something, whether it's an art form, whether it was just a hobby you didn't think much about, Taurus, I'm seeing all of the things that you tried and you were learning and developing the last 18 months is finally, with this nodal shift to Gemini, with all of these retrogrades, is actually going to show you just how good you are and just how good you have gotten at these things you've been putting your time and energy in. And with these things you've been putting your time and energy, Taurus, you're going to see yourself going faster, being more successful, and going further than you ever had thought with these interests. This is the time, Taurus, when you're really going to grow out of just like being lost and unsure, falling down off your toddler bike, and you're really going to start building yourself up, picking yourself up, riding that real horse and winning the races. Because every time I do readings for you, Taurus, on what's going on, I have so many good things for you. First of all, we have, everyone's like, oh, okay, the retrogrades suck. You know what sucks? The Mercury retrograde sucks, because it just messes with your electronics. Everything's electronic. Yes, retrogrades do bring a lot of karma, but these intense retrograde experiences, like I'll tell you something, Taurus, when Saturn, Pluto, Venus, everything went retrograde 2 years ago, do you know what happened? Nothing bad. My YouTube channel blew up. I went from being so broke, I was literally with my sister counting couch change from my car and couch, to making 6 figures overnight. That's what happens during these retrogrades. Now, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes what happens is, your boyfriend flips out on you, decides to do things, he goes to jail, it's dramatic. I'm just talking about my personal experience. That's probably not going to happen for everyone, but I'm sorry guys, essentially what I'm saying is that what happens during these times is that dramatic things happen, but they always lead to something so much better that's more on your karmic path, because right after, you know, a traumatic accident, then you decide to move home where, you know, you get a nice place with a good deal, and then your career takes off. You know what I mean? Like, it's good change. And I see, Taurus, for you have the 4 winds of success. I'm hearing it from the window. I'm feeling it. You have the 4 winds of success coming for you in that second house. One thing I do see for you, Taurus, too, just like besides that, like expanded creativity, obviously, and also just like, you know, mastering, like I see a lot of creativity, even like hobbies, you know, you forgot about doing, wanting to do multiple different things. Like the 3 muses and the winds of success are with you right now. And I feel like Taurus, one thing that I will say is that we have a lot of like the 3 muses, and I also have Sappho, which represents, you know, same-sex love. We have a lot. Some of you could be changing your sexuality, Taurus, or some of you could, you know, this is a general reading, obviously not all of you, but some of you could be doing that. And I actually see that a lot of you in May, or like by June, May, you're gonna have the courage to finally admit that, or come out about it, or finally be ready to, and that's going to be a very positive thing for you. But you know, besides that, that was a message for a few of you who are struggling with that. For others of you, what I'm seeing is a lot of creative collaborations with other people, collaborations with others who help expand your creativity, who help your mind grow, who teach you a lot. I see a lot of people you are going to work with, these blessings coming in that are going to expand your creativity. They're going to expand your mind. They're going to lead you to success. And I feel as though, Taurus, one thing I do want to say is the feeling I was getting is sometimes when the North Node is in the second house, I kind of got the feeling as though a lot of you, you might be very suspicious of people. And I just got this feeling because when the North Node goes into the second house, one of the things that it rules is the 9 of Swords, and that represents Mars and Gemini or something. And Mars rules Aries, which is in your 12th of hidden enemies. So I do feel as though a lot of you, you could be very paranoid that other people are conspiring against you. You might not know who to trust, essentially. Like what I'm seeing is you're having a hard time seeing clearly who to trust, who's for you, etc. Like that's something that's a huge thing. I would say, Taurus, one thing, if you want to know really, you know, if someone's your friend or not, or your enemy, is really just look and how do you feel around them? Because Taurus, you, I really feel like are very much in tune with spirit and the divine. I don't care, you know, if people are like, Taurus is an earthly sign. Taurus is also ruled by the Hierophant, which represents a spiritual man and a shaman. So Taurus, what I really see for you is that you can trust yourself in figuring out like who's for you and who's against you. Is sometimes when the North Node goes into your second house, is like the anger can amp up and the speech can get very harsh. I think the challenge about this is going to be how to control your anger and how to differentiate anxiety and mistrust with your actual intuition. So I hope this helped you, Taurus. I hope this gave you comfort. Thank you so much. When you guys are rich and famous for, you know, your passions or doing something you believe in, be sure to remember me and leave a comment. And yeah, I want to hear your successes. So that's all I have for you, Taurus. I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching. I love you so much. Bye. Hi, Gemini. Welcome to your blessings, big changes coming with these nodal shifts, with all of these planets, Pluto, Saturn, Venus, everything going retrograde. As you guys know, and you've probably heard, this is a mark of a new era, a new part in your life where drastic things are going to change. And by the way, Gemini, your new astrological candle is out on my new website, Lilith Ascendant. It's the new brand that I have launched, and this Gemini candle was specifically made with the soy wax and the essential oils for Geminis to help heal the mind with the fragrance. And it's handmade, 100% vegan, non-toxic. And if you're interested in getting yours, Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising, or if you know a Gemini, you can go to my website. I put in the description. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started on your reading. Gemini, this is what I want to tell you is, if you're a Gemini rising specifically, or even a moon, and I know and feel this because, you know, this is something like I'm on the cusp on my rising. I'm right between Cancer and Gemini. I feel this for you. You have a very hard time being in the present moment. You have a very hard time just like sitting and appreciating the moment. You're always thinking about the future, Gemini. You're always thinking or doing something to distract yourself from putting the focus on you. That's what I've noticed about Geminis is they're so quick, or they're always thinking about the future, or they're astrologers because they like thinking about the future, what's next, or they're always doing something because, or they're always like, or if they're not doing that, they're always conversating or distracting themselves with people, an interest, a hobby, or the future, instead of just like being able to be present in the moment and going, wow, I just like sitting on this couch right now, appreciating this moment, instead of in their head like, all right, what are the next steps, what I'm going to do now, what I need to be doing something, I need to, you know, I feel like your mind is very restless, Gemini. And especially with this North Node transit, the North Node being in your first house or over your sun or over your moon, it's going to hype up that Gemini trait of always thinking about this or the other thing or the future, because the Gemini sign in tarot is ruled by the Nine of Swords, the Ten of Swords, the Eight of Swords, which are cards about, you know, mental overstimulation. But the positive thing about Gemini, because there's a shadow and light to everything, is it's ruled by the Magician and also the Lovers, which talks about charisma, being able to really charm the pants off of someone. Some of the most charismatic people I have met inside real astrology have been older Gemini risings, because Gemini risings, Geminis tend to have issues when they're younger, and then they somehow mature into like the world's most charismatic, understanding people. That's the thing about you guys, Gemini risings, moons, suns even. When you want to and you're able to be present in the moment, you can really just have really great conversation, extremely charismatic. People want to listen to you, and also you can be very persuasive, and you have those abilities of really charming other people with your personality, because Gemini's in that first house of body, personality, and face. And it's also ruled by the Magician of the pro manifester, someone who's a jack of all trades. But the thing is, there's no grounded energy. It's all like ideas. It's all, I'm going to dabble in all of these different things. And Gemini, I feel like your anxiety or your kind of restless nature or wanting to dabble in a little bit of everything is something that's giving you anxiety. It's like one thing you're going to have to work on with this transit is just being okay in the present moment and knowing that you don't have to know the future about everything. Now, one thing I do see for you, Gemini, is this North Node transit is really going to bring a lot of luck to you, with the North Node being in Gemini in your first house. Everyone's like, okay, the North Node, Rahu, is a bad planet. Yeah, it is kind of, but in my experience, when the North Node goes over your sun, your moon, the first house, the second house, this actually is a good thing, because what it does is it amps up your natural qualities, and it also, so if you're Sun Gemini, you are going to notice that your confidence is tenfold. You're going to notice also as well your anxiety might be up, or you might have a lack of focus. If you're a Gemini moon, this might bring some anxiety, but it's also going to amp up your creative ability to extend past, you know, the mundane. And if you're Gemini rising, this is really going to just amp up your natural skills of communication, and also your it's just going to amp your charisma, your natural Gemini traits up. And this is a good thing because of the talents, because of the charisma, the jack of all traits. But it's also a negative thing due to not being able to stay present. And that's something that I really want to stress for Geminis during this time. Is it's really important to heal your root chakra, and also be very careful about who you let into your energy, because you are going to draw in a lot of different people because of that North Node. You're going to have that feeling of excitement around you. People are going to be drawn into you. But you know, the thing about that as well is that this is the time, especially, you know, with Mercury going into your first house of Gemini in May, and especially with the South Node going into your 7th house of partnerships. This really tells me that a lot of you, before you're ready to work with anyone else, or before you're ready to meet the love of your life or make the relationship with the love of your life work, it is so important for you to spend time alone by yourself, self-reflecting in May 2020 to June. And that's what this whole focus is going to be about, with the Mercury going into your first house, ruling your 4th house. This is all about you, Gemini. You're going to need time alone to self-reflect, and it might be painful, because the thing about it is, I want to tell you guys a quick story. Self-reflection is really hard. I used to be an alcoholic probably from when I was 15 to 19, so 4 years. And it wasn't because I was a bad person. You know, addiction doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad person. It just was, it was so painful for me to self-reflect on my past and my wounds, that instead of doing that, I just would have rather drank, because it was easier than facing my demons and healing from them, because it was so painful. And what that did was, for 4 years, I stunted my growth as a human being, as a soul, because instead of just facing it, addressing it, and healing and self-reflecting, I was getting lost in the fog, because it was the instant gratification of it. And Gemini, that's one thing I want to say, is if you're someone who's taking the time to really self-reflect and heal yourself, things you don't want to face, bad things about yourself you don't like that you want to fix, instead of trying to fill it in with a partner or fill it in with all these things, just be present and think about it, even if it's embarrassing and it hurts, because what this is going to do is develop your personality into someone who's just, Gemini risings, when you guys are able to self-reflect and ground yourself and do that shadow work, or moons and suns, you're some of the most charismatic people, because you understand. So I really recommend doing that, spending time alone, doing shadow work, you know, just not filling up your mind with things or distractions, to focus on those things to improve your personality and yourself, and this is going to pay off in the future. First of all, what I see for you, Gemini, is these are just mundane things that I'm seeing, like mundane blessings I'm hearing before, you know, June. I hear a lot of you are going to get some really good news, or if you've been waiting to hear from someone, you're going to hear from someone soon. So very good news, a text you want, a letter of acceptance you want, getting the job you want, some sort of very good news is coming to you before June 2020. And I'm also hearing with the 2nd house references, I feel like this could also be money coming in, so check in the mail, that could be one of the lucky things that I'm hearing. Now, Gemini, I'm also going to pull some things out of the basket to go ahead and see what's going on. We have, in alignment with the best version of yourself, Gemini, you're finally coming into those positive Gemini traits, which is amazing. And let's see what else we have. We have positive thinking and positive mindset. Didn't I tell you guys, Gemini? See? I'm sorry, I just get tickled when astrology and tarot line up, so I mean, it's just what it is. And we also have life-changing opportunity, like I was saying over here. So Gemini, things are looking up for you. It might not seem like it, because you're doing a lot of painful self-reflection, spending time alone, thinking about improving yourself, you know, being alone, but how necessary it is for you to be alone right now, because if you do it and just face yourself, all of these amazing things are coming to you. Don't let the retrograde scare you. Don't let all of this stuff scare you. this is ultimately for your greatest good. And that's what I want you to know. And if anything negative is happening, just know things are going to get better. So that's all I have. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye. Okay, Cancer, let's go ahead and see what is coming for you with these nodal shifts, with all of these planets going retrograde. So first of all, Cancer, oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. First of all, Cancer, I'm on the same boat as you. I know exactly how you feel right now. Cancer, this has been a difficult transit for you, and the reason being, the reason why the initial stages of the North and South nodes shifting into your 12th house of Gemini, South node in your 6th house of Sagittarius is so hard for Cancers is because, you know, believe it or not, Cancer risings, Cancer, even sun and moons, I've noticed, but the rising is going to be the most accurate. Like I said in the beginning, you guys are very ambitious people because you have Aries in the 10th house. You have, you have Sagittarius in the 6th house, which also means like your work is so important. You believe in what you do throughout the day. And if you don't believe in it, you're not going to do it. So essentially what happens when you have the North node, Rahu, whatever, going into your 12th house of the hidden, of spirituality, of sleep, of self-care, of healing, this is really difficult for Cancers because you have the South node in your 6th house, which means a lot of you Cancers, you might be feeling some sort of dissatisfaction or confusion in your work or everyday life. And this is really difficult for you because you almost feel like the energy you once had is no longer available for you, or you're no longer able to focus on just one thing in the speed that you once did. It almost feels like if you plan to do something and Cancers like plans. They like to have a set list of what they can expect. That's why I've noticed Cancer risings love astrology, love tarot. It's not just because they are intuitive. It's because Cancers like to know the future is safe before stepping out. So when you have North node amping up that 12th house of the hidden and also of the unknown, this makes you go crazy because what this does, it makes it so you feel like all the efforts that you put in or any plans that you make fall apart, and you kind of notice that the only time things come together for you in your life right now is when you let go and release and go with the flow. It's almost weird for you, Cancer. Like if you try too hard with anything, like a person, a job, a hobby, like as soon as you become serious about it, it runs away from you like that. That's what the 12th house is all about, because when you have the 12th house transitioning into Gemini, like it is for you, essentially what this is doing, because the North and South nodes are the karmic nodes, and the North node is where you want to go. When it's in your 12th house of Gemini, and I'm sorry guys, I'm having a hard time focusing because of my neighbors, but let's send them love. You know, they're always making an appearance. Maybe one day I'll meet them and say hi. But essentially what this is doing is it's pretty much teaching you how to release, how to go with the flow. It's teaching you how to have faith, Cancer, because the thing about it is you have Sagittarius in your 6th house. Sagittarius is all about faith, but when it's in the 6th house, Cancer, it's only about faith in what you can see in the mundane. You have faith in what's in front of you, Cancer. There's great difficulty in having blind faith in something, Cancer. That's something, you know, everyone's saying, oh, Cancers are naive, Cancers are dumb, Cancers, no. Cancers are very, very practical. And especially when they're looking at Capricorn in their 7th house, this means that, you know, in a past life, when you're a Cancer rising, you were someone who was probably very business minded. You were someone who was probably older, respected in the community, all of that stuff. So in this life, Cancer, you're learning, because your 1st house is what you're learning to be in this life. You're learning how to be receptive. You're learning how to go with the flow. You're learning how to be feminine and motherly in energy. It doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl or whatever. You're being taught how to receive instead of do. So your natural state, Cancer, is to do, and also is to be very skeptical and not have faith unless you can see it. So Cancer, essentially what the universe is doing for you right now is it's really trying to get you to develop your faith and have faith in the unknown. Cancer, if you feel like life is out of control, if you feel like you have no control over anything, you can't see what's coming. I'm seeing Cancer for a lot of you who are like readers or psychics or whatever, your psychic sight is being blocked. You know, you might not be able to feel, you might not feel as intuitive as you normally do. Astrology predictions, you know, you might not be able to see clearly. You know, you might find that pick a cards or astrology isn't resonating as well for you. You might find that you're doubting a lot of that stuff now. You're doubting your faith. And also, you know, a lot of things that you want to know have been hidden, where before, like last year, you were able to see those with pick a cards, with your intuition. But now I'm hearing that spirit is blocking your intuition and your sight and blocking you from having the answers right now, because it is very essential for you to build your faith into some sort of God or spirituality. It doesn't matter what it is, and it's not my job to tell you what it should be. Right now, with North Node leading you to that 12th house of spirituality, spirit is blocking your psychic foresight, your occult powers, your tarot, your astrology for yourself. It's blocking answers on the pick a card, because it's teaching you how to release and have faith in the present moment and to attract it to you, as opposed to pushing to make everything happen like Cancers are used to. And Cancer, also what's going on with you too is, you know, Cancers, Cancer risings, Cancer suns, moons, they are materialistic and ambitious a lot of the times, because they have Leo, the sun, in their second house of material possessions and owning. Their 11th house of greatest wishes is Taurus, of material possession. And that's okay. It's not a bad thing to want those things. I want those things. Who doesn't want to be wealthy and successful? Like, you know, obviously with your morals, but everyone on some level wants that. But Cancer, that's something that you really want, is that security. It doesn't even have to be wealth, like just feeling wealthy. And what's happening with this North Node going into your 12th house of Gemini is essentially you're letting those things go. So things you once cared about are no longer important to you. You feel unsure about what you want for the future. You have a lack of drive or ambition. You kind of just want to get lost in creativity. You want to get lost in your home and in nature. And that's another thing I hear for you, Cancer, is you're going to find a lot of meditative release out in nature, actually. And I feel as though a lot of you, one of the blessings I'm seeing for you, Cancer, because spirit is really blocking, and I'm not just saying that, like I really got that for you, Cancer, because Neptune is in your 9th house. It's really blocking a lot of your psychic sight. The lights just flickered, so weird. It's really blocking a lot of your psychic sight, and that's why you feel confused, you feel lost, you don't know where the future is going. That's okay. It's meant to be like that right now. It's meant to. And ooh, I got the spiritual tingles. I hate when that happens, because I get really creeped out by it, but then it's like, oh, I'm on the right path. But essentially the blessing coming for you, Cancer, is that one thing is you're learning how to receive from other people. I'm seeing that other people, like friendships, are going to be coming in for you, who want to help you out, who are making things happen for you, as opposed to you always being the ones to help people out. I see good friends coming to you. And another blessing that I see as well is I see with the snake and the flower, you went through a huge transformation. You shed your skin, Cancer. And what I'm hearing is that you're starting to be more authentic, and you have bloomed into someone who's more open. So before, kind of when I see the snake in the garden with this imagery, I kind of feel like someone who hides their dark side or hides things about themselves they don't like under the pies and happiness Cancer rising persona with the flowers. But I'm hearing, Cancer, the blessing for you is you've learned how to integrate your dark bad girl, bad boy side with your Cancer rising side, and because of that you have transformed into someone that others want to help. And also you're attracting a lot of people in your life who could be very beneficial to you and that you could receive a lot from, and I really feel that way. I also feel too, Cancer, one of the blessings coming for you is that I really feel like you're going to start putting yourself first, instead of putting other people first. And one of the other things I'm hearing is that the blessing coming for you is the present moment, because honestly, Cancer is very blocked for you right now. And that's because when the North Node goes into your 11th house, things are going to start speeding up. Probably within 6 months, Cancer, things are going to during the eclipses of June, July, things are going to start changing to your favor. But right now, your blessing is nature, a home blessing, a blessing in your home, and also a blessing in the present moment, and being grounded and one with your body, and also being grounded and one with universe and nature, and being less concerned with material pursuits, ambitious pursuits, and instead being more present and aligned with yourself, your wants, and in your body, if that makes sense. So that's what I have for you, Cancer. I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Okay, Leo, so let's go ahead and talk about what big changes and blessings are coming for your sign based on, the huge planets, Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn, all going retrograde, which means they're going backwards, which means so much karma, so many transformations, a change in timelines and destinies, and then the karmic nodes, which control our reality and also the course of our lives. And they stay in a sign for 18 months, shifted to Gemini and Sagittarius. So essentially, everyone is going to be going through a major shift in destiny, karma, path, and it's going to be a good thing, because it's going to take you out of the stale and the mundane into the new exciting chapter of your life. So, don't let anyone scare you about retrogrades or, nodal shifts or anything like that. I'm not going to lie, retrogrades can either be very challenging or very rewarding, or sometimes it's challenging and then the reward is so good the challenge doesn't even matter. But let's go on to you specifically about what I'm seeing. So first of all, Leo, I have been sensing for you, especially with the last 2 horoscopes, with what I've been looking at in your chart. The North Node has been in Cancer in your 12th house, and I know a lot of you are like, well, it's actually in my 11th house because of degrees. We're not talking about everyone's individual chart. We're talking about the collective energy and path. So what I'm hearing is that for you, Spirit, the reason why you are a Leo at this certain time is because the North Node has been in your 12th house of Cancer. And essentially what this means in the last degrees for you, Leo, is that I really felt the last few months you have been starved of affection, you've been starved of love, you feel underappreciated, you feel victimized, you've kind of let other people take away your power, or other people have taken away your power, and that's how it feels. And you kind of let them because you've stayed in this woe is me, I'm so alone energy. And I'm not trying to sound harsh whatsoever, Leo. That's not my intention at all. But what I want to tell you is that for some reason, you've given away your kingly status, because Leo is the king. Leo is ruled by the sun, the inner child, the royal regal sun, which never goes retrograde, that Earth needs in order to survive, okay? The sun is a royal planet because it doesn't go backwards and it's always consistent. And the sun is the most important, or the most focused on in our birth chart, right? So Leo, that's what you have in your first house. That's what the universe has blessed you with in this life, is being the king in your first house of appearance and face and personality, or with the moon, or with the sun, an exalted sun, So it's like you were given this kingly status, and this North Node in the 12th house has kind of taught you how to give yourself the appreciation and love that you want without having validation from the outside world. I'm hearing that this rejection, that this pain, or this feeling of loneliness you have went through was for the spiritual purpose of building up your soul and building up your character. So when you do rise in this life, you will have the humbleness. And especially if you're a Leo who recently, I feel like Leo, you went through a major spiritual awakening, honestly. That's what I'm feeling for you, because every time the North Node has been in the 12th house, it triggers spiritual awakenings. But then it was at the last degree and switched to your 11th house of Gemini, which means for the past month, it was like a critical degree of you, like if you weren't spiritually evolving in the last degrees, that North Node really pushed you to spiritually evolve with either rejection, with hard lesson after hard lesson, emotional blow after emotional blow, defeat after defeat. And this was for the spiritual purpose of building up your character and building up your soul. Because what's happening to you, Leo, is essentially, you know, the North Node is going into Gemini, and it's going into your 11th house of wishes coming true. This is a really good time for you where things start looking up. Things stop being so crazy. They stopped being so dramatic. It stops being about spiritual lessons and more about you in this material plane. And essentially, what this transit was doing for you is it was teaching you how to be humble, and it was teaching you the importance of being down to earth, because no one likes a king that's arrogant and bossy and egotistical. Like the dark side of Leo, every sign has its dark side. The dark side of Leo can be narcissistic, it can be bossy, it can be self-absorbed. But you, Leo, the Leos watching my channel who are awakened and aware, you went through this dark night of the soul, this loneliness, this feeling alone, unappreciated, because you were learning how to appreciate yourself without outside validation, and you were learning what it feels like to be low. So when you do rise to the top with this North Node going into your 11th house transit, when you do become the star of a show, you'll have that humbleness, and you'll have that realness and empathy about you that makes you a good leader, that makes you a star, so that people don't turn against you later on, if that makes sense. So that's why you went through that. And you know what I'm seeing too is that you've been really hard on yourself. That's what I'm seeing. You've been very hard on yourself, but I'm seeing that you, Leo, have evolved so much as a person the last 18 months. I see that. And you know what Spirit wants to say? Like, acknowledge. You've been too humble, actually. Acknowledge the fact that you have changed mind, body, and soul, and it's been difficult, and you went through a lot of painful lessons. A lot of you have felt victimized. What's happening is you have transformed inwardly, outwardly. Like, I have the sun and the moon. Everything about you has transformed. And you know what I'm seeing is a lot of you have went through pain, but I'm seeing that you're channeling your pain into, I'm hearing arts and crafts, something to do with crafting in your hands. I'm hearing that a lot of you, first of all, we had Bridget, which represents a warming incense to invoke Bridget, the Celtic goddess of sacred wells, weaving, metalwork, poetry, healing arts, and crafts whose flame is eternal. So essentially, you're turning this pain, Dragon's Blood ink, a popular blood red resin for adding power to any spell, and it can be crafted on Tuesday or during the dark moon for accessing power from pain. Essentially what you're doing, Leo, is you're taking all this pain in your soul and you're putting it towards something positive. Your creativity, I'm seeing creativity is becoming an everyday part of your routine because you have Jupiter, Pluto in your 6th house. Jupiter rules your 5th house of Sagittarius. So this really tells me you are incorporating creativity into your everyday routine, or something that invokes passion inside of you, and you're channeling all this pain into a very healthy way of something that brings out your inner child and reignites your passions, and that's a really good thing. And I'm also hearing, Leo, that, you know, when the North Node goes into your 11th house, this is where it's pushing you towards the karma. The North Node in the 11th house at first in Gemini is going to be awkward. You might have a hard time finding your tribe, finding your team. People might seem against you. You might feel left out or something like that, because the North Node is territory we have not explored yet, and it has just entered your 11th house. So you might have an issue working in teams. You might feel distrustful of other people due to what you've been through this past 18 months. There might be you having to walk away from certain people, but I'm hearing from Spirit that teamwork is key, because I have the boat and the key, and when I think of a boat, I think of sailors all together on a boat. You know, teamwork is key, especially with a North Node going to your 11th house. This is where you are going to really grow your creativity. This is where you're going to really grow your success. It's through teamwork, it's through other people. Now I'm also seeing, Leo, like honestly, I have the 6 of Wands too. So this talks about Jupiter being in Leo in your first house. This tells me, Leo, a lot of blessings are on the way for you. And I think the blessing that's coming for you is you finally releasing the pain and channeling it into something you're passionate about that brings out fun, passion, a hobby, whatever it is. And I'm also seeing the blessing is someone coming towards you being a key part of your destiny and unlocking this immense success I see for you, Leo. And I'm not just saying that, okay? North Node 12th house transits are very difficult, but the fact that, you know, it's going into your 11th house of wishes coming true now, it's like you will be rewarded. Just wait it out. Right now is the time for hard work. It might seem like, you know, everything's just beating you down and you just want to give up. Don't. You know, good things are coming soon, and I think it has something to do. I'm also hearing travel might be key for you, or living near water might be very key to you. Teamwork is key to you right now. You know, all of those things I'm seeing and I'm hearing from spirit. So blessings jar for Leo, besides material success and popularity and all that stuff. So we have making a new friend, like I said. Improved appearance, clear skin. Oh, you guys have improved your appearance, I'm hearing too. Something about your appearance has changed a lot. And I feel like this is something to do with you being so hard on yourself. You've changed your appearance so much. And then also a life-changing opportunity. What did I say, guys? Like, I'm telling you, a life-changing opportunity is on your way. Because I have 2 Wheel of the Year Jupiter cards, okay? And I also have the 6 of Wands, which talks about success. And also, I think the key is, you know, travel, other people, teamwork, you know, something like that. So that's all I have for you, Leo. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'm sorry you're going through this. I love you, and I'll see you later. Bye. Virgo, welcome to your astrological reading. The karmic nodal shifts that are happening to Gemini and Sagittarius. So many big changes are coming. It's so crazy. But for you guys, Virgo, let's just focus on you. What can you expect with this Gemini Sagittarius shift for the next 18 months? What's going to happen? Big changes are happening for everyone, but for you specifically, Virgo, that shyness that you have, or that wanting to kind of be recluse, because Virgo, you have to remember you are ruled by the Hermit in tarot. So if you're a Virgo and you have that in your first house, or you have your moon in Virgo, or you have your sun in Virgo, essentially this means you are represented by the Hermit in tarot. And what is the Hermit? The Hermit is humble. They're an old soul. They are chill in energy. They are very serious. They're recluse because they're very selective about who they spend their time around, and they need a lot of time alone privately to recharge. That's one thing Virgos have in common. Or Virgos also like to, at the same time, work in private by themselves on something they're really interested in, rather than go out and socialize all of the time. Or if they do socialize, they end up being the teacher or the wise person or the counselor. So this is all those things that are put on Virgo as a Virgo sun, moon, and rising. Now, the change that I see shifting for you, Virgo, is in probably around the end of May throughout June, with these nodal shifts, with the North Node moving into your 10th house of Gemini. The North Node amps up any house it's in. It accelerates it. It expands it. It also, it just makes it pretty much amps it up. It's that house on steroids. So when you have the North Node going into your 10th house like that, all of a sudden, Virgo, all of that is going to change. I'm seeing for you specifically, one thing you're going to notice is you're going to start showing your authentic self to other people. You might be sillier. You might be goofier. You might want to reach out to people more. There might be more confidence in showing who it is you really are, as opposed to hiding it behind, you know, this serious facade Virgo risings like to have. You guys might be more silly, more goofy, more out there. And I definitely feel, Virgo, one of the big changes coming into your life is you are no longer going to hide yourself or be, you know, the teacher. You're no longer going to have to be the wise person for everyone around you. You're no longer going to have to be the old soul who gives advice, or you're no longer going to have to be, someone who hides or doesn't socialize or just kind of stays to themselves because it feels safe. That's all going to change for you, Virgo, because the North Node's moving into your 10th house, whether you're a Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And essentially this means it's going to make you want to put yourself out there more. You're going to be posting more on social media, maybe. You're going to be showing more of yourself. You are going to want to make connections with other people. I'm seeing, Virgo, a lot of you, you might befriend people that you never thought you would befriend before, because normally Virgos are so selective about their energy. But I see all of that changing May 2020. And also for the next 18 months, I see that you guys are just going to really allow yourself for the first time in your life, and this is a good thing. The reason why you were born a Virgo, rising, sun, or moon during this time is because you were meant to learn these lessons. Because, astrology does not dictate reality. Astrology just shows the transits, and it shows the karma and the energies of what we can expect. And for you, Virgo, you were born a Virgo during these transits because you needed to learn how to put yourself out there and have that break where you're able to be the child and people can take care of you and you can put yourself out there and be bold and confident and be the show off. This is your time to shine, and there's no need to feel ashamed about it. And I actually feel like, surprisingly, because you're being more authentic, putting your real self out there more, expressing yourself more in a childlike manner, you're attracting a lot of different people to you that you would have never thought could possibly become your friends. And you're going to be making connections with people that you never thought you would before. So I see new people coming into your life, and I see you networking with a lot of people specifically. Now, one thing I do see, Virgo, that might be an issue for you. One of the things that I'm seeing from May to June is I do feel like a lot of you can internally be under a lot of pressure and be taking on too many things at once in your everyday, because the Magician, which is the jack of all trades, rules your 10th house of career. North Node is going to be amping that up, making it so everyone views you as the person who can get it done, as a leader. They expect you to do all of these things. And it's almost like internally, with the South Node being in Sagittarius, you're feeling really overwhelmed. But you're kind of like saying, yeah, I can do it. I can take it. Like, you're kind of putting on a brave face to the world is what I'm seeing, Virgo. But like, your inner life might be suffering, or you might actually be very scared. Now, Virgo, Mars is going to be in your 7th house of Pisces, May 13th. So essentially what this means is I really feel, I'm just going to go out and say it. I really feel, Virgo, that a lot of you with the bear and the heart, this is not going to be for all of you. This is a very specific message. It was harder for me to pick up Virgo, and I think it's because the message is so specific. So if you have a sun, moon, or rising sign, check those out too. But for some of you, I feel like you're really scared of love, or you're really scared of deep emotional connections with people. I feel like you feel like everyone is your enemy, and there's almost a sense of suspicion I'm feeling for you, Virgo. And the reason why that is because the North Node's in your 10th house of alertness, of thinking on your feet, of being able to see everything. And then on top of that, the sun's going to be there, which is your 12th house ruler. So it's almost like it's almost like you're suspicious of everyone who comes your way. Your mental abilities are at their peak. That's what I do see for you, Virgo. Like, your genius ideas, your mental abilities are at their peak. You're competent, you're smart, you can get things done. You're starting to be very aware just how intelligent you are. And, you're getting all these brilliant ideas, and also your intelligence level, you just feel it being raised with its North Node amping up your 10th house. But it's almost like you feel as though everyone is taking advantage of you, or you're scared to get close to people, so you push them away by acting tough, or you push them away or scare them away subconsciously. I'm almost seeing, Virgo, like with your interrelationships, you kind of purposely scare the other person off, because there's some sort of fear of real intimacy, because of fear that everyone has an ulterior motive is kind of what I'm hearing. And I'm hearing too that just in general, the idea of love is very scary for you. I'm seeing that, you know, like either you scare people off, like in romance or friendships, or they scare you off. There's some sort of disconnect in your close relationships, and it's almost easier for you at this point, Virgo, to keep light relationships. It's almost like keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. That's kind of what I see for you, Virgo, honestly. Essentially, what's happening is you're transforming your public image, you're transforming your friendships, you're transforming yourself. And I feel like there's a lot of things coming back in a loop with Venus going retrograde for you, with all these retrogrades. With your relationship houses, Jupiter going retrograde. I feel like a lot of past relationships, past partners, past things are coming back to you. Past money on things you've worked on in the past. You know, past partners, past relationships, past friendships, past hobbies, past interests. All those past things are coming now into your present, and this is going to be the time when you really develop those things, end those things, or build on those things. So all those things left unfinished in the past, that's what's happening. So that's all I have for you, Virgo. I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye. Okay, Libra, so let's see what crazy changes are coming to you before June 2020. So based on all of these planets going retrograde, the eclipses, the north and south nodes moving to Gemini and Sagittarius, what does it mean if you are a Libra, sun, moon, and rising? So I would say the months of extreme change, shifts in storylines, shifts in, like, this is the sequel to the first movie. It's not even the same movie. We are shifting into the next chapter of your life, the next big adventure. And I would say between the months of May and September is when you are going to notice the most change. But let's go ahead and see in what areas of your life you can start to see them by June 2020. Okay, so one thing I see for you, Libra, is that you have the North Node amping up your 9th house of Gemini. So pretty much the North Node in astrology, it amps up the sign and the house that it is in. It kind of is like, it amplifies wherever it's at by 100 or something like that. And for you, because it's in your 9th house of travel, education, because it's in that 9th house, this is what it's going to do. So first of all, when the North Node originally goes into Gemini, this can cause some mental anxiety and mental anguish, because Gemini is also ruled by the tarot cards, the 8 of Swords, the 9 of Swords, and the 10 of Swords. So the North Node really amps up a lot of racing thoughts and anxieties that have to do with that house. But the positive thing about Gemini is it's also ruled by the Lovers, which is like twin flame soulmate, and it's also ruled by the Magician, which means wherever Gemini is where you're a jack of all trades. It's where you are able to make things happen. So one thing I'm seeing for you, Libra, is that with this North Node going into your 9th house, you can definitely expect some anxieties about the future. You can definitely expect that. And I'm not going to lie to you, with the sun being in your 9th house of Gemini, May 20th, one thing you're going to see is you're going to have a lot of anxieties for the future, or you're going to be planning a lot for the future. So this is all going to have to do with like planning for your future. You know, it could be looking for houses, planning a trip, planning what you're going to do after this quarantine is over, Libra. It's all going to be about setting up your future to look the way that you want it when all of this is over. And for a lot of you Libras, because it's amping up your 9th house, this has to do with travel or moving away. So I like to use tarot cards in order to help with my astrological predictions, because the planets in the universe are energy, and when they move and when they shift, they vibrate a certain frequency on Earth. And I believe that when you shuffle the tarot cards and you channel that energy, the tarot cards that are an energetic match for your intentions and also the planets are the ones that come out. So I had the Road and the Bridge, which both talk about travel, but they're upside down. And this actually coincides perfectly with the North Node being in your 9th ninth house and the sun being in your ninth house May 20th, because this tells me this is all about internal planning of where you want to go for the future, specifically with traveling, moving away, or some sort of trip that's going to be on your mind. So you could literally be doing this trip in May or June, and I could see that could be your blessing, because I also got the horseshoe, which is telling me this is going to be a positive trip, or you're going to be doing a lot of planning for this move, for this trip, for this progression in life. It doesn't even have to be physical and literal progression. It could be like you're going to be thinking a lot about the plans you need to make in order to get where you want to in life. So there's a lot of mental energy surrounding that for you, Libra. And the blessing for you is I actually sense this is going to be a successful trip. And Libra, I want you to know you are on the right path. That's another thing I heard for you. And a lot of you might be worried about change, because I am seeing that as well. A lot of you have some sort of fear about change. There's something that's holding you back from making this journey you want to make, from making this progression you want to make, because the road and the bridge is upside down, which is telling me there's something keeping you from walking this road that you know holds your destiny. And I got that also with the Judgment card, the Pluto card, right? And the Nine of Swords. It's almost like something is holding you back, something from the past, maybe your home, a responsibility, a worry, maybe a partner. This could be a partner, friendships, worries, the past. It really could be anything. But something is really calling for you to go on this path to your destiny, but there's almost some anxiety or hesitancy to do so. And when I asked Spirit what that was for you Libras, I did get the Witch's Broom, which is clearing away energetic routine, energetic buildup. So this really tells me that it likely has something to do with your home and family, but also this tells me this has something to do too with a lot of things in your past holding you back that you need to cleanse. And the Witch's Broom also talks about travel. So I really feel, Libra, one of the blessings coming your way is you're finally going to get all of the routine things done that you need that are keeping you from walking the path to your destiny and going on that trip that you feel called to take. You're finally, from May to June, going to clear all those road blockages out, and you are going to be on the right track. Now, I do want to tell you with this North Node transit, I know a lot of you aren't interested in love. That's okay. Either with love or friendship. I'm seeing that there's going to be some sort of love or friendship or wish coming true in regards to a close friendship or romantic offer with the North Node being in your ninth house. I strongly feel that for you. I feel as though a lot of you are going to aim towards partnerships during this transit, or you're going to aim towards one-on-one partnerships to help. I almost feel, what I'm feeling for you, Libra, too? I want to be honest with you. I'm feeling a lot of insecurity and doubt about your talents. I see that with the Aquarius card, which rules your fifth house of creativity and talents. I see it with Saturn being there too, retrograding in your fifth house. This is telling me a lot of you are being very hard on yourself, your talents, your abilities, and I almost sense that you're looking towards other people to help you on your path or help you get where you need to go, because there's a lack of belief in yourself, or maybe you feel like the friends around you don't believe in you. So it's either your friends, your environment doesn't believe in you, and you have to carry yourself in your dreams with no one's support or belief, or you don't believe in you and your dreams. So you're looking towards other people. Those are two scenarios I see. But I want to tell you, Libra, that at first, no one is going to understand or believe in you. That's the truth of the matter. And it's not just me who's experienced this. It's a lot. If you watch like people who are successful, their interviews, they were often underestimated. They were often doubted. They were often ridiculed for their work and their beliefs. David Icke, so if you feel like no one believes in you, F them. That means you're on the right track, to success. It's often the people that everyone believes in for some reason. I don't know why that is, but Libra, or it's like you need to forgive yourself for past mistakes and move on from that and just live your life. You know what I'm trying to say? But Anyway, what I do see for you, Libra, is actually a lot of really good things. I see wish fulfillment in regards to a successful connection with someone else, business, romantic, or friendship, a successful partnership. And I'm also seeing too with enchantment, bewitching beauty truly comes from routine, self-love, self-care, and celebration. I actually feel, Libra, that one of the things I was hearing for you is a lot of you are learning really how to communicate with people and influence people in a very powerful way. I'm sensing, Libra, I know that sounds a little evil, but I'm sensing, Libra, like you have a way about you that's able to captivate people with your ideas and visions, because you have Gemini in the 9th house, which represents, like I said, the magician. The jack of all trades, the person who can do anything. And then you have it in the 9th house of ideas, philosophy. So it's almost like you have so many ideas, philosophical stances that really get people going, that really like make people wonder. But at the same time, you are sometimes going to receive people who don't understand you, and that's okay. You're not for everyone. Anyway, Libra, the blessings I see coming for you is sticking to a routine, and this routine is going to lead you successfully to your destiny. And it's also as well removing a lot of things holding you back in life. That's all I have for you. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you later. Bye. Hi, Scorpio. Let's go ahead and see what these retrogrades, these intense changes, what these karmic nodes, the North and South node, is going to do for you in Gemini and Sagittarius specifically. So essentially what's happening right now, Scorpio, is everyone is going through a change in timelines, storylines. So for the past 18 months, we've been in one storyline, but now we are entering a new storyline, a new chapter. Actually, it's not even in the same book. This is the sequel to the first book, or the sequel to the first movie. This is a whole new movie, whole new book. And I would say from about May to September, that is when we're really going to see all of the final changes, the climaxes, the endings, the beginnings take place. So, you know, May, June is just the beginning of it, but I'm going to go ahead and clarify what those things, what you can expect is. But these themes are likely going to play out for months on end. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So one thing I am definitely seeing for you, Scorpio, is rebellion against authority, against government. You're addressing your issues with, you know, the man in charge, with authority figures, with governments, with your father, with your boss, with anyone who has power or control over you. And the reason why that is because the North Node is going into your 8th house of Gemini, and wherever the North Node is, it really amps up that house. It's sort of like it expands that house and makes it times 10, times 100. So essentially what this means for you, Scorpio, is I'm gonna go ahead and get right down to even like the woo-woo stuff. So first of all, Gemini is ruled by the magician in tarot. What is the magician? He's someone who's a jack of all trades. He's a pro manifester. He represents Mercury. Okay, Mercury in the 8th house for you. Now, Gemini also rules the Lover's card, which is, you know, the 2 man-woman duality card represented by 6. And then we also have it ruled by the 8 of Swords, 9 of Swords, and 10 of Swords, which in tarot represents anxiety. It represents mental anguish. Okay, so there's a good and bad side to this. There's a shadow and there's a light. So let's go ahead and face the light side of it. So first of all, when you have Gemini ruling your 8th house, Scorpio, this is a time where, you know, you might awaken your interest in spell work, in witchcraft, astrology, tarot cards. All of those natural gifts you probably already possess, or all of those natural talents, because the 8th house is the house of the occult. It's the house. So let me rewind. There are 2 spiritual houses in the birth chart. The 12th house of channeling angels, all that's unseen, dream work, the subconscious. But then there's the 8th house, and the 8th house in astrology is, you know, tarot cards, it's astrology, it's the occult, it's pretty much the gateway to spirituality with material world things such as astrology and also tarot cards, whereas the 12th house is more just psychic mediums channeling spirit. So I personally I'm an 8th houser. I need tarot cards, I need astrology. Some people don't, and you know, that's awesome for them. But 8th housers are normally people who are natural witches, manifestors. They might resonate with witchcraft or astrology and tarot. So what I'm seeing for you, Scorpio, is in May 2020 to June, your occultic abilities are really going to enhance. So, you know, if you're someone who identifies as a witch, this is the perfect time to manifest, to do your spell work. You might notice you have an increased interest in the occult, in spell work, and these are all things you should pursue. And obviously, I would say in a healthy way, because there is a dark side of spell work. So one thing I've learned is, you know, when you do curses and hexes on people or whatever, what it really does is it puts a stone in your heart that weighs on your heart. It actually is a curse towards you because you're not able to release that pain or whatever. So I highly recommend against black magic, but sometimes North Node in the 8th house does make us drawn to black magic, but that's my personal experience, to each their own. What I do want to tell you too, for those of you Scorpios who are into the occult and astrology, yeah, this would be really good for your career or your knowledge about it, because I did get the guide card, which goes along perfectly with the chart. So I don't like to just base things off tarot, because I think astrology and tarot work hand to hand, but essentially what this is doing is helping me with my intuition and messages. Now I did get child and magical in reverse. So essentially this is showing me your shadow side, Scorpio, which says pessimism, depression, and disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and action are not required for growth. So Scorpio, I do see the negative side of this going down. First of all, with the North Node being in your 8th house, like I said, there's a good and bad side. The bad side is mental anguish, and I almost feel like, you know, because you have the sun, your 10th house ruler, going in the 8th house, there's a lot of anxiety and worry about your position in the world, about your career. There's a lot of drama or hardship regarding that right now, as I can see with the sun in the mountain, which is a clear symbol to me. When I look at it, it's like it's burning hot in the desert. You're walking up this mountain, you feel like you're never going to make it. It's just hard. There's so many challenges in your way to the top or with your career, and it's almost like there's a sense that you just want to give up because there's been so many roadblocks and challenges, and I understand that so much. And with slave, it's almost like you feel like you are constantly working under someone, or you're constantly working towards a goal, and you feel like no matter how hard you try, you can't get up this mountain, and you feel like giving up. And you almost have developed like some sort of pessimism about it, is what I'm seeing. And you know, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I know exactly how this feels like, but I'm seeing all of this for you. But the good news I'm seeing, Scorpio, is first of all, this is going to be a time when your creativity is really amplified tenfold. This is because I also have the Poet card, and you know what also went with the Poet card was also Uranus, Sagittarius in the 5th house. Sagittarius rules your 2nd house of speech. 5th house rules your creativity. Uranus talks about unexpected genius ideas. So Scorpio, what I do see, the positive thing about this is I see a lot of new creative ideas that come out of nowhere, specifically in regards to creative writing, through speaking, maybe speaking about, you know, conspiracies or 8th house witchcraft matters, you know, like, so it could be occult, astrology, writing, but I'm also sensing for some of you, because the 2nd house also rules kind of like past life talents, and you have Jupiter, the ruler of that, and Pluto going retrograde. I almost feel as though a lot of you are going to, yeah, I really feel that, discover a past life talent and really devote yourself to that. and kind of step away from what's expected of you or working under someone else. I sort of feel like, Scorpio, you feel like you've lost your power. And right now is the time for your creativity. And I also see too, because we have a lot of the scrying, a flying ritual of witchcraft, a circle. I'm also sensing a lot of you have a lot of suspicions recently about your friends. So it's one of the two things I'm seeing for you, Scorpio. You have a lot of suspicions about your friends. You have a lot of suspicions about the people around you. There could be a lot of that going on right now. Just very suspicious, anxious, worried about the future, anxious, worried about your friends, anxious, worried about the future. Some of you might even be like, going to psychics or trying to see for yourself, or kind of like casting spells to change it. Those are all good things that I feel like would help you. But at the end of the day, remember, you have your power, and there's only so much you can get from a personal reading. But I definitely feel, Scorpio, your career is changing, your whole life is changing, and you're anxious about it. You're very anxious and suspicious that everything's going to fall apart because of the past. You don't trust anyone around you. Maybe you're attracting weirder people. I do see that you're attracting stranger people. These are all going to be good things for you because they're going to inspire your creativity, awakening a lot of hidden things and talents about yourself you haven't seen before, due to some sort of change in your life, which is pretty much everything. Your career, your public image, everything is going through a huge change right now. And that's all I have for you, Scorpio. I hope this helped. Guys, just know that the blessings coming are a lot of knowledge about spirituality, manifestation power, and also random past life inspiration and talents. So that's all I have for you, Scorpio. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you later. Bye. Hey, Sagittarius. So let's go ahead and see what big changes are coming to you with all of these retrogrades, the South Node changes. So pretty much we're hopping into a new reality, a new storyline of our life, the sequel to our first movie. Everything's going to change from probably May to September. This is when we're going to notice the biggest changes into our new adventure, but it's going to start at the end of May, early June. So we're going to figure out what those themes are based on astrology and tarot. So one thing I was seeing for you, Sagittarius, is the North Node is going into your 7th house of Gemini. And the North Node, like I was saying in all the other signs, amps up that house and that sign. And it's where we are learning, and it's also where the craziest things happen. So essentially what this means, Sagittarius, for you, essentially what's happening with this North Node transit is it's teaching you about partnerships, it's teaching you about balance, and it's also teaching you about relationships. So this could be business relationships, friendship relationships, or romantic relationships. But sometimes when we're taught lessons about relationships, this means sometimes there are dramatic miscommunications or things that happen within our friendships, business partnerships, or with our significant other or the people that we date. So one thing I am seeing is that you are in the next 18 months going to come across people who might not have your best intentions that you work with, date, or befriend. And that's not meant to scare you. This is just meant as a lesson because Spirit is really trying to teach you. Because Sagittarius, first of all, you have Leo in the 9th house of open-mindedness, philosophy. So you yourself are very open-minded towards other people. And also you have a good sense of being able to see people's higher selves for who they are. But right now you're developing it, and the universe is teaching you how to develop it because, and by the way guys, I'm using tarot cards because they help with my intuition when I'm looking at the transits, and I really feel the energy on the tarot cards and with the stars energy that they radiate is combined. So one thing I'm seeing with the Thief upside down is I really feel, Sagittarius, just don't be paranoid, but be, use your natural gifts of observation. Use your natural gifts of being able to see people for who they truly are, because the 9th house is also about law, judge, right? And you have the sun there, which means that's where you shine. You're an excellent judge of character. You are an excellent. But the thing is, sometimes you can be so open-minded and you want to be so open-minded towards other people that sometimes you ignore blaring red signs. And I see for you, Sagittarius, the universe is going to present some people that you feel don't have your best intentions and you should really listen to, because you are an excellent judge of character, as I see with Judge and Thief. I just feel like, Sagittarius, because the North Node is where you're learning in the 7th house, be very careful. Spirit really wants me to tell you, be very careful about who you trust. Be careful with agreements, with signing things, with documents, with, the people you date, your friends, because this is really teaching you, that North Node, to develop your good judgment of character. So your spirit guides are really telling me right now, because we also have serpent in the bed of roses. So when I think of serpent and bed of roses, what I'm thinking of is like a snake in the garden. I'm thinking of a snake hiding in these beautiful roses of love, of beauty. So it almost makes me feel, Sagittarius, there might be someone who is being deceitful towards you, not like in a life crashing, changing, awful way, but you kind of know that. You're a good judge of character. Because I have so many Jupiter cards. So it's really, and also with Jupiter, Pluto going retrograde in your 2nd house, this is really revealing to you, I feel, your natural power of being able to see people for who they truly are. So a lot of the times people say retrogrades are negative, and that could be the case, but with Mercury and things like that. But when Jupiter, Pluto go retrograde, it really internally shows you a lot of wisdom about yourself. I feel like this retrograde for you, Sagittarius, is going to reveal your natural talent at studying, researching your natural Sagittarius traits, and also reveal your natural talent of being a great judge of character. So, and also of writing and publishing. That's another thing I heard for you, Sagittarius. Writing, publishing, reading. Those are all things that are going to be awoken for you during this retrograde. And I also see as well, what this is going to do is a lot of self-work too. You're going to be developing yourself in such a big way. And I feel like one of the things you're going to do, Sagittarius, is you're going to walk away from feeling so burdened, feeling so weighed down by life, and you're going to move more towards a carefree, fun attitude where you put fun into everything you do, especially out in nature. I'm hearing, Sagittarius, that a lot of you are going to go out in nature, and this is going to be something that's really amazing for you, or you're going to be very interested in alternative medicine or healing yourself with alternative medicine, natural medicine. These are all blessings I'm seeing. And I also see a special connection with an animal as well, guys, like really bonding with some sort of animal. So for some of you, Sagittarius, with Sun being in the 6th, first of all, I really feel like you're going to see before June who these snakes are, who these deceptive people are around you. You're going to have the strength to cut them off. And I also feel as well, just like a huge connection with nature and animals and Mother Earth. Those are all things that I'm seeing. And I'm seeing too, one thing I do want to tell you, you could get closer with your pet, or get a new pet, or just want to spend more time in nature. But anyway, what I do see, however, is I do see loads of money coming your way, Sagittarius, with this Jupiter-Pluto retrograde. I 100% see that with Midas and Mister. I see that a lot of you have the potential to make a lot of money in the next few weeks. Or it's like you could meet someone who wants to invest in you, or meet someone wealthy, but I definitely see like a wealthy person, or you gaining a lot of wealth from partnerships, or just in general through business within the next 4 months. I've really felt that, because North Node in the 7th house is also really good for business. It's really good for business deals. So yes, you might have these sneaky characters you have to watch out for, Sagittarius. However, there's also going to be a lot of good people people who come into your life who want to help you and finance you and support you and invest in you. So there's the good and the bad to it. You just have to be vigilant. But I really do believe with the sun being in Taurus in your 6th, with Jupiter, Pluto going retrograde, you're going to be able to see these people. You're going to be able to finally recognize that. Those are all the things that I see for you that are very, very positive. So Sagittarius, there's one more thing I wanted to add about this North Node in the 7th house transit. It's very easy to be mystified by someone who seems, because the 7th house is ruled by the magician of Mercury. He can do anything. He's magical. It's very easy during this transit, Sagittarius, to be very taken with someone who's a good talker, charismatic, and also someone who seems like they know everything. But, you know, if it's too good to be true or you're getting a bad vibe, really think about that in the next few months. But the positive thing is I also see a lot of creative collaborations, or if not that, Sagittarius, if not a huge increase in creative collaborations, I also see that there's going to be a lot of romance and dating for you. You might actually have multiple different people, or if not that, the relationships that you are going to be in are going to be very intense, very obviously this is going to resonate more if you're a rising or moon, but if you're a sun, maybe more just the other things. But if you're a rising or moon Sagittarius, your relationships might go through periods of drama, get back together, a lot of ups and downs. This happens sometimes with the North Node, or you could be dating around a lot to find what it is that you like. You might experience some heartbreak, but at the same time, you could also find, the love of your life, So those are all things that I see, like especially for Sagittarius during this time. I think it's very likely you could find your twin flame, because North Node is in your 7th house of partnerships that's ruled by the Lovers. So that's all I have for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and move on. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Okay, Capricorn, so let's go ahead and take a look at what huge changes and blessings are coming into your life with all of these retrogrades, these huge planetary retrogrades, these karmic nodes shifting to Gemini and Sagittarius, which is literally going to change our realities, our storylines into the next big adventure. So let's see what it means specifically for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Risings. But remember, Rising and Moon is the most accurate. And if it doesn't resonate, just check out another one of your signs. But first of all, Capricorn, I want to address something that I was really seeing for you. First of all, I'm seeing a lot of intense spiritual energy, a lot of fear to Capricorn. First of all, I'm getting a lot of Scorpio card, the Scorpio card, as I see here, which rules your 11th house of friendships, of wishes coming true, of the future. So I'm sensing, Scorpio, there is a lot of fear. I mean, I'm sensing, Capricorn, there's a lot of fear about the future. I see that for you guys. You guys with the Tower and the Grim Reaper's staff, it's almost like you're expecting death. You're expecting the worst. You're waiting for the worst to happen. It's almost like you have a very bleak idea of the future. This really it screams to me you're going through a lot of transformation, a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, and a very dark outlook about your friends and the future. For some of you, this could even be friendships where maybe you feel like your friends aren't really your friends, or you're very suspicious of your friends. That's another thing I see as well. For those of you who don't feel that way, Capricorn, what I do want to say is I feel as though one of your friends, and I'm getting this because Mars has been in your 2nd house of Aquarius, ruling your 11th house of friendships. I feel like one of your friends is jealous of you. They could be someone who maybe wants to use you for money, I'm hearing, or take advantage of your resources. So it's either take advantage of your resources, they're jealous, they want what you have, or they are, just like putting some bad energy out towards you. And this is not for all Capricorns, and I don't want you to be scared. I'm going to get to the blessings, but I'm really hearing that your spirit guides are really protecting you from whoever this person is or whoever these people are. That I feel like, because when I see the Tower and the Death staff in Scorpio, and Scorpio ruling your 11th house, not only is it a bleak outlook of the future you have, I feel like it's your friendships. Some of your friendships are just like spiteful, bitter, not good. And I almost feel with the hexagram, like this probably looks like it to you, right? Like I almost feel like you feel cursed, or you or someone in your network circle who's jealous is trying to curse you with their bad energy, kind of like the evil eye. But what I'm really hearing, Capricorn, is your blessing, is your spirit guides are very close by. The reason why I feel like they're protecting you is because you have the candle and you have the opal, amethyst, and onyx. And these are both like spirit guide protection, candles, crystals. Both of these things are really like linked to the angelic realms, your spirit guides, protection, cleansing of all these bad energies. So, and we also have Mercury in the 12th house, which talks about spirit guides, spirit communication. It also talks about being very close. I feel like your spirit guides are protecting you from this bad energy, but in the meantime, they want you to protect yourself and protect your energy, and also do something that will lighten your mood, because right now you have a very bleak outlook on life, and your spirit guides, they're trying to cheer you up. This is what I'm hearing. Your spirit guides with the Page of Cups and like the pig floating over the bowl, they're trying to send you silly things through other people or through like, you know, funny scenarios to help cheer you up, because when you lift your mood and you believe that pigs can fly instead of, you know, being so bleak and negative about the future, you change your energy so that these like bad people can't really impact you energetically, but they are very close to you. I really feel that way, especially with the South Node being in your 12th house, and then Jupiter, Pluto being in your first house retrograding. I almost feel like this is a deceased loved one, a deceased loved one spirit guide, but I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. But I really felt that. And also with Mercury in the 12th house, this tells me a lot of you too, there's just a lot of suspicions, but also I'm seeing that like your communication with spirit and spirituality is at an all-time high. But I do feel like, Capricorn, what's going on right now is you are releasing a lot of enemies in your life, whether it's work or people. You're releasing enemies in your life, or things are being released in your life that you have identified a lot with, because it's trying to get you, with Saturn being in your second house, Mars being in your second house, to go after what you really want for the future. So what I'm hearing, Capricorn, is recently you've gone through some sort of tower moment where life, your job, nothing is going to plan, and this has really made you have a bleak outlook, a lack of belief in anything, because nothing is working out, or it's almost like so many things have ended, you're overwhelmed, and kind of just in that low slump of it. But I'm hearing that those things were taken out of your life and released out of your life because you were meant to find spirituality. This is a very spiritually enlightening time for you, Capricorn. That's why you've been through it. That's why you've transformed so much. You've gone through an energetic upgrade. That's why you were born as a Capricorn during this time. It's also, they were taken away so you can finally go after what it is that you really want for the future, as opposed to being stuck in the mundane and stuck in this depression. So the good things I want to tell you, Capricorn, is everything that wasn't meant to be a part of your destiny is removed and being replaced with what it is you really want for the future. The good news is I see a lot of this dying down already in June with the Page of Cups. I sort of feel like this is the time you're going to heal your finances. This is what I'm hearing. You're going to heal your finances, and also your perception of the world around you into a more positive one, and you're going to figure out within the next 4 months what you want for the future. And then after that 4 months, life is going to start progressing into abundance and what you want. But right now, you're healing your finances, you are discovering spirituality, you are working on your communication skills, you are releasing things that are keeping you from your destiny. And I hate change, so I know that's not fun, but this is a good thing. And you're going to start to see why it's a good thing, because I sense you're going to be praying a lot with the star, and it's almost like you're going to feel someone there giving you guidance, whether it's your spirit guide, God, whatever. So it's not going to be, as bad as you think. It's actually a very good thing. So that's all I have for you, Capricorn. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you later. Bye. Okay, Aquarius, so let's go ahead and look at what these major changes with the retrograde planets, Jupiter, Pluto retrograde, Venus retrograde, and the shifts in the North and South node is going to do for you specifically. Like I say, the rising and moon is most accurate, but if your sun, this could apply as well. But I'm just going to go ahead and let you guys know, even though you've probably already heard it, that these retrogrades with all of the major planets, the shift with the North and South nodes, are going to cause a new destiny, a new chapter in our journey. It's going to be like the sequel to our first movie. We are going on a whole new adventure. And from May to September, we are really going to start to see these changes take place, where we are moving on to the next cycle. And I think May and June is when it's going to start. So I'm going to go ahead and explain what changes and blessings you can see from these transits, specifically for you guys. So first of all, your North node, which is the moon's node that stays in the signs for 18 months, they are going to transition, or they already have transitioned to Gemini, and they are going to be there in your 5th house for 18 months, as well as the South node in your 11th house of Sagittarius. So pretty much what this means for you, Aquarius, is that North node is going to amp up your 5th house of creativity, of fun, romance, and also dating. So one thing we can expect out of this for some of you Aquariuses is that you might feel as though you're not ready to settle down. You might feel very dissatisfied in partnerships, or you might feel dissatisfied in relationships that seem stagnant or non-exciting. There could also be like a need for once, Aquarius, a big change of wanting to find love, or wanting to date, or wanting to experience romance. And if that isn't playing out in your relationships in the way that you have envisioned, then I do see you kind of breaking away from those relationships. Because a lot of the times when the North node is in the 5th house, this is where it's pulling our soul to go towards, so we can learn the lessons we need to learn in order to develop and in order to move on to the next chapter. So for you, I see you're going to be really drawn to romance, dating, really drawn to finding the one. And I do feel like it is very likely you could. I do see that. But a lot of the times what happens is when you have Gemini in the 5th house, Aquarius, Gemini is ruled by the Magician. It's ruled by the Lovers, the divine masculine and feminine. And then that's the positive side, but then the shadow side is it's ruled by the 8 of Swords, 9 of Swords, and the 10 of Swords, which talks about mental anguish. So the positive thing I do see for you, Aquarius, is I do see love coming in for you, absolutely. But I also see that same love kind of bringing you a lot of drama or mental anxiety, because it's part of the karma or what you're going to experience, because these experiences grow us into the people we're meant to be. And I do see that love, dating, and romance is going to be a huge thing for you. But I also sense as well, like, because it's in the 5th house of dating, there might be a flightiness about your relationships where you don't want to settle down. You might always find things that are wrong with the people that you date, or you just might feel like if it's not matching up to your beautiful, idealistic view of it, you might just get rid of it just like that. That's kind of what I'm seeing with the energy. And like I was saying, you have Gemini in the 5th house, which means that first of all, you want your partner to respect your talents, your creativity, and to admire you. And also, not only that, with the Lovers being in your 5th house of Gemini, your perception of romance when you want to is very idealistic, romantic, you know, movie-like, and that's okay. That's what makes you creative. But I'm sensing, you know, one thing you're going to learn in the initial stages of the North Node being in your 5th house is there might actually be, you know, a romantic ending. So first of all, when the North Node first enters Gemini, it's a little awkward. There can be some endings or some drama going on. So I kind of do feel like there could be some sort of, you know, relationship drama, relationship on and off, or, you know, some sort of, you can meet your soulmate. Some sort of big relationship thing is likely going to happen from May to the end of June for you, Aquarius, or an offer of love. I do see that. I'm also sensing as well, one of the things I'm feeling for you is that I feel like the full moon in Scorpio, which happened May 7th, I feel like it revealed to you a lot of addictions or a lot of negative traits about yourself. It could be like your addiction to, you know, a certain substance, or, you know, it could have revealed, you know, what you need to work on in yourself. It could have also revealed to you a lot of like who's your real friend, who's your not, who's your enemies, who's not. I feel like Aquarius, you just really have been made aware of all of the things about yourself you don't like, and essentially the blessing that I'm seeing for you in May 2020 is you're going to actively work on fixing those things. And the more you fix yourself and the more you fix those things about yourself you don't like, the less hard romance and dating is going to be, and the more copacetic your partnerships are going to be. So if you notice that you can't feel satisfied in love, or your romantic partners aren't satisfying you, or, you know, just like you always find something wrong about your romantic partners, your dating life, this is probably because there's something about yourself you're rejecting. And I actually see, Aquarius, over the next few months, you're really going to start to be aware of those things, and you're going to start fixing them. And because of that, I think it's very likely that, you know, you could meet a soulmate. But specifically, Aquarius, what I see for you is a soulmate in regards to a friendship. I actually do see that, because the South Node is going into Sagittarius in your 11th house. So originally, you might not be very much into friends. You might be just wanting to date and play around. But I actually see, and I'm getting so far ahead of myself, but I actually see, like, within like 6 months, maybe January of next year, I know I got way too ahead of myself, I actually see you meeting a soulmate, and as a friend coming to you, a female friend. I got that when I was channeling, looking at the charts, and I saw you have that South Node in your 11th house, which means past life friends, past life spiritual friends. And then the ruler of your 11th house, Jupiter, is in your 12th house of spirituality. It's in your 12th house of past life connections. It's soul contracts. I actually feel, Aquarius, one of the huge blessings coming your way is you're going to meet a female friend who literally is a past life friend. You'll know as soon as you run into their energy. It's almost like, and this person is going to be like a really good lifelong friend. And I felt that for you, Aquarius, at the end of this journey. But yes, I do feel like right now, friendships might be a little desolate for you. I feel like your focus is going to be on love, dating, romance, and your own creativity. And that's okay to be selfish right now, because it's what you need. I sense that a lot of you are just going to have a lot of creative energy as well, because you have the Magician in your 5th house, the Lovers in your 5th house, which is telling me I feel like you guys are going to awaken multiple different talents that you're going to pursue. And I feel like now is just going to be the time where you're actively creating the reality that you want, just through doing things that you enjoy. Even though, you know, what you want for the future, you don't know what you want for the future, you don't know what you want for breakfast, you don't know. But what you're doing is you're just following your passions and creativity. And while you're doing that, you're not even realizing you're building this spider web of destiny that is going to be made very apparent to you. And also you're attracting a woman, as I can see with the woman in flowers, your soul family, a female in your soul family, a past life connection. And I also feel for you, Aquarius, now this is going to be a select few of you. But first of all, I see money coming your way. As I can see with the 9 of Cups, I see money coming your way, confidence coming your way. I see a lot of energy to get things done from May to June, but I also see, now this is a select few of you, but I did see this so prominently. One thing I do see is that you have Jupiter Pluto in your 12th house. And for some reason, when I saw this, it made me think of, yeah, especially with the North Node being in your 5th house, it made me feel like someone is kind of watching you behind the scenes. I'm hearing secret crush energy. So either you have a secret crush and you are wondering about them, or they have a secret crush and they're wondering about you, or it could be mutual is kind of what I'm feeling, Aquarius, where you and someone else are kind of wondering about each other, have feelings for each other, but it's been remained low-key, it's been remained secret. But I do get that energy of you spying on someone romantically or wondering about someone if they have feelings for you, and also them doing the same for you, or them doing it to you, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and figure out who this is. I really wanted this to be like a serious astrological video, but whatever. Love messages come out. So we have, I have never felt this way about anyone else before. I think you may be the one, okay, coming from the person who's spying on you. And also I feel like if it's not that, it could be you guys live so far apart, there could be a distance that the only way they can keep tabs on you is social media or something like that. But I really feel like this is a secret admirer too, or someone spying on you. And with the flowers and the woman, I really feel like they might offer you something from May to June, and that's a very big message I heard. Okay, so we have the I need space card. Whoever this is, I feel like I said, lives at a distance, or right now they feel safer just spying on you, even though they know you are the one, and kind of keeping away for now, even though they know you are the one, because for some reason, I guess like that's how they feel like it needs to be right now. And they say, I'm very attracted to your body. I am unsure about the emotional connection. And also, I am building up my courage to admit my feelings for you. So, wow. I definitely feel like secret admirer. Let's go ahead and... So you guys probably are going to receive some sort of offer. I actually feel like they're manifesting you. I feel like someone, either a friend or a romantic person, is manifesting you to have feelings for them, because I also have the Wand and Spider, which kind of makes me feel like they're manifesting you to get caught in their web. I definitely feel that energy, Aquarius. I know that was a strange message and completely off topic, but it came in so strong that I actually had to just say it. I really feel like someone's manifesting you, trying to catch you, trying to draw you in, and you probably feel it too. I feel like you guys do, or some of you with the Neptune, I feel like you don't know, but that's something I really did see for a lot of you. They have their eye on you, they're manifesting you. So let's go ahead and just draw out of the blessing jar real quick, Aquarius. Let's see what we have. We have knowing your life purpose. Heck yeah, Aquarius. Feeling confident where you are and just pursuing your passion. Then we have someone wants to wife husband you up. Guys, I literally just said that. That's so crazy. Hold on, let's see what else. We have improved appearance, clear skin, and subliminals. Nice, everyone. That's perfect. So that's all I have for you. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye. Hi, Pisces. Welcome to your changes and blessings coming your way prediction by June 2020. So essentially what's happening is all of the planets are going retrograde. The north and south nodes are shifting, which means we are shifting into the next great adventure and the next sequel to our lives. So everything that's become stagnant is now going to start moving towards our new adventure. And I would say the biggest change is going to be happening from May to September. So we are going to start seeing these changes starting from May and June. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the major themes and changes and blessings you are going to experience for the next 18 months with this karmic node shift, and also what you can start seeing relatively soon as well. So one thing I am seeing is that the North Node, which means where you are being taught, is going into your 4th house of Gemini, which means when it first goes into there, it can be a little bit awkward because the North Node is everywhere that we are unfamiliar, and it also amps up the house and sign it is in, because sometimes in order to learn about that house and where we are going in life, there has to be a little bit of drama, a little bit of some tower moments that happen, so we're able to learn fully about the house the North Node is in. Everybody goes through it. It's not negative. It's just the cycles of life. It's just the cycles of our soul growth, being able to see it through astrology. So essentially, when you have the North Node going into your 4th house of Gemini, this is really going to bring up a lot of family, past, childhood healing for you, Pisces. So, okay, let's just give an example. The 4th house is about your home, your past, your family, your parents, your childhood. And you know what they say? They say that the person you develop into as an adult all stems from the first 5 years of your life and what you experienced in your immediate environment and how you felt as a child, what experiences you went through as a child. Those all shape your adult self in such a big way. But a lot of the times we don't even realize it because as adults, in order to cope, we just sort of forget all of those memories and push it to the side because sometimes it can be very cringy or painful to think about. So for you, Pisces, there's no more hiding from the past. There's no more hiding from guilt. There's no more hiding from regret or hiding from who hurt you when you were a child or hiding from childhood trauma. With the North Node in the 4th house, this is going to bring back, this is going to really push you into healing your past and your inner child. I'm seeing one thing I channeled for some of you, Pisces. This is a general reading, but hear me out. This message, kind of like what I got for Aquarius, was so different, so strong. Aquarius and Pisces messages were more channeled than astrology, but still very much based in astrology because facts, logic. But I really want to state this. It almost amazed me when I got this. I had the Father card. Okay, a male figure. So for a lot of you, it was a father. For a lot of you, it was a male or someone in authority with mentor card. It could have been, so when you were a child, there was a male. When you were younger, there was a male. Someone in authority, someone who could have been a father, someone who you looked up to and respected. I'm hearing that they let you down or hurt you in some sort of big way. And starting May and June, you're really going to start remembering these things and see how it really impacts you nowadays in your life currently. But I'm getting any authority figure. It doesn't have to be a male. But I'm getting with this North Node, it's really going to stir up your emotions and help you see how those experiences really shaped you into the adult you are today. Because I also got three orange colored cards, which relates to the sacral chakra, and the sacral chakra gets blocked from childhood trauma, not healing from the past. It blocks our creativity. So I'm seeing there's a huge block in your sacral chakra and your ability to have fun, enjoy, and feel pleasure and feel sexy and feel creative, because there's this resentment you're holding on to towards some sort of male figure in your life, whether it's a parent, a mentor in the past. Maybe you guys have been married for 30 years and it's your husband. There's some sort of male in your life you're holding resentment onto that's caused you a lot of sacral chakra resentment issues now. where you don't want to forgive this person. And it's really like, I feel like this North Node, like I said, is just going to amp up past things like that are going to help you see why you have these issues now as an adult. Now, the good news that I'm seeing is if you were to work on these issues that I'm seeing in your personal life, with the South Node being in your 10th house, Jupiter, Pluto being in your 11th house of the future, you can literally change your future. I'm hearing, Pisces, you can dimension hop. You can dimension hop and change your future into the reality that you want, because you can hop dimensions and realities. We see that with the water cup law of attraction experiment. When I looked at the chart for you, Pisces, I strongly felt if you're not satisfied with your career, your job, your life currently, right now with Jupiter, Pluto going retrograde in your 11th house of the future and wishes coming true, I really feel, and also I definitely feel this, I really feel like you can change your everyday reality simply by healing from the trauma of your childhood and your past. By acknowledging it, one, and also healing from it and forgiving. Because look, I know a lot of you don't want to forgive your parents or whatever happened in the past, and I understand that. Trust me, I understand. But it's not about letting them hurt you. It's literally about forgiving them so you can release that pain. And then you can see why you have certain self-sabotaging behaviors now. And then once you forgive your parents and forgive yourself, those self-sabotaging behaviors, they go away. So, this is what I'm seeing, that you can dimension hop. And I'm also seeing, one of the things I'm seeing in May 2020 is there's going to be a huge pull between your past and the future. Are you going to go back to the past, or are you going to go towards the future? You're going to have two very defining routes, Pisces, a decision where you can either choose the past route or the future route. And what you choose is entirely up to you. I'm also seeing a pool, Pisces, between home and work life. There might be an extra focus on your home, personal and private life, with North Node going into your 4th house. However, because Jupiter, Pluto is going to be in your 11th house, ruling your 10th house, this tells me there's going to be an opposition of, wanting to focus on your career, but you're busy at home, or something in your home and family life is distracting you. Or it could be the other way, where you want to focus on your home, but career is distracting you. Or I'm also sensing, Pisces, you're expected to be the magician in your everyday life, in your family, because you have Gemini in your 4th house, which is where the North Node is amping up. Gemini is the magician in tarot. Gemini, the magician, is a jack of all trades. He can do everything. He's the magician. He's a superhero. And he's in Gemini in the 4th house, which means in your family life and private life, Pisces, you're always expected to do everything, to be everything to everyone emotionally in your relationships, in your home life. And that's draining. At what point do you learn to, stand up for yourself emotionally and with boundaries? And I'm also hearing too, with the triple goddess, you guys are expected to be everything to everyone. And that, I'm hearing, can be very, very exhausting. I'm also sensing, Pisces, a lot of you have felt very confused, very tired. Just a lot of things for you have felt, it's almost like it's weird. It's like there's a lack of, it's almost like a lack of clarity, and just feeling pulled in a bunch of different directions, which is what the North Node in Gemini does. But I'm hearing that during this time, you have the opportunity to shift realities with that 11th house, simply by healing your family relationships. And also I'm hearing there's going to be some sort of blessing within your home life, Pisces, with the star in home. Some of you could finally find your true home, where it is you want to live, some sort of blessing in regards to your house, or like selling your house finally, even in this market, or getting a good deal on a house. Or like I said, it could be, your family member helps you out, or some sort of family blessing. I do feel that. And I also got the bowl of abundance and the Queen of Pentacles. So I do feel, Pisces, that abundance is coming your way. I really feel like the blessing is healing your relationships with your family members, and a home blessing is really what I'm seeing, like doing your home in a nice way, selling your home, finding home. So that's all I have for you, Pisces. I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you later. Bye.